Hello, everyone. I'm just going to let you all filter in because here it's 6:30 in the morning in the not so sunny Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. So if anyone doesn't know, this is where Globetrotting's HQ is, and this is our office that sits at home on our 30-acre property. Rowie and Amy, who are part of our amazing dream team here at Globetrotting, are my facilitators. And yeah, I'm just making sure that everyone can hear me. Can everyone put a thumbs up in the chitty chat to make sure that I'm not just speaking to myself for the next 20 minutes? Awesome. Because I can't see any of your lovely faces. So it's just, me talking to myself. That's so great. So good. Look, I know that time is precious and you guys could be tuning in from anywhere in the world. We have a Globetrotting community that far reaches my wildest imagination, from the Netherlands to Singapore to Tasmania to New Zealand. So it just honestly warms my heart that you guys have made and etched 20 minutes of your time to be here. It just makes me smile. Can everyone tell me where they're tuning in from? Because I'd just love to hear. If you can write where you're from. But yeah, so my intention for my Globetrotting Masterclass, as you know, it's a series of masterclasses. The first one is what on earth is Globetrotting? We were going to say what the heck is Globetrotting, or maybe an expletive instead, but we also have to cross a lot of different languages. The UK, Canada, oh my God, Coolum Beach, local, Wisconsin, USA. Amazing, guys. Ecuador, phenomenal. Look at you all. So special. Honestly, this is just something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, because as you can appreciate, a horse riding holiday isn't as simple as a holiday where you go on a cruise ship or a beach holiday. There's a lot of nuances to horse riding holidays that I have gleaned and followed for. I've been doing Globetrotting rides or as a guide or as a guest or as a facilitator since I was 25, and I am 43 now. As you can see, like lots of wrinkles with 3 daughters. So my intention for this is literally to impart as much knowledge as I possibly can to empower you to make the right decision on what horse riding holiday is for you, or if a horse riding holiday is your jam at all. Like, that's all I'm here for, is to share knowledge. We're not going to put you in a sales funnel at the end of this and persuade you to buy a ride. I mean, obviously, when you know what ride works for you, you will navigate to us, whether it's in 5 months or 5 years. We will be here ready to hold your hand, which thrills me no end. Look at you, New York. It's crazy. It's so cool. Now, can everyone tell me if they're literally on the fence and have never, ever done a horse riding holiday before? Like, you're literally like thinking about doing a riding holiday, but you haven't. Please never. Wow. Okay. That's, yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. Wow. And this is what we were hoping, is we're getting all these amazing contacts from all around the world, but I feel like there's a lot of fence sitters. I feel like there's a lot of lurkers on the website, but there's just not that maybe trust or knowledge to be able to go to the next step and book a riding holiday. Okay, that's so cool. Yeah, you're going to Ireland. That's a really, really great ride. And who has been on a Globetrotting ride or on a horse riding holiday before? Anyone here that has ridden with Globetrotting or? Okay, cool. So for those of you that have touched on a riding holiday, River Valley ride, you will know that for those that haven't, you are literally on the precipice of holiday nirvana. I like to call it the holy grail of holidays. Horse riding holidays, I was very fortunate to discover in my mid-20s, but it is like nothing else in the world. It is, you literally lift the lid of a country, you delve beneath the skin, and you get to ride alongside locals. You get to ride local bred horses in traditional saddles. Like, imagine riding alongside a gaucho on a criollo horse in Patagonia, Argentina. That is something that you just can't do with any other form of holidays, in my mind. There are also riding holidays that we have that you actually can't get to that landscape or to that region without being on a horse. We're all so lucky, and I would be remiss in not saying a big gratitude to the beautiful horses that we all share a love for, the sentient beings that get us, that are our pathfinders. I'm getting full goosebumps, firmly believe that seeing the world from the back of a horse through pricked ears, the same, beating heart is just something that I live for. I'm a pathfinder and an adventurer, modern day explorer, I feel. And I get so much enjoyment about sharing this church, this portal, this true north to the rest of the world, and every way possible. It just lights me up. And I feel that when you do start to open the lid on the addictive world of globetrotting, you won't be able to close that Pandora's box. Every time you go to a new country, you will be seeking out a horse riding holiday, because there is nothing like it in the world. And we believe that globetrotting is the world leader in horse riding holidays. We have a complete addiction to horse cultures around the world, and we love showcasing that. So thank you for tuning in. The Gaucho Derby, it absolutely warms my heart. So how I found horse travel was, I was in my mid-20s. I had done, very typical for Australian teenagers, to go to Europe and do the backpacking. I think I was a low-level drunk for 12 months, going to churches in Europe and everything like that. I was then invited to do the Masai Mara ride in Kenya on a horse, a 7-day, multi-day ride. And with my father, it was the first time I'd ever traveled to a developing country. And I found myself completely transfixed and beguiled by this country. A little friendly fly on my shoulder. And it was amazing. So I still remember, it's very vivid, the memories, riding a chestnut mare called Witch across the Mara plains and literally cantering alongside wildebeest and weaving between them and crossing. Here we go. Yeah, my beautiful Rowie's gonna show you different rides as I talk, so you don't have to just look at me. This ride literally was an absolute pivotal moment in my life. Being proposed to by a Maasai warrior, crossing the tea-stained waters of the Mara River with hippos and crocodiles, watching upstream, listening at night and not being able to sleep with the snorts and the coughs of lions and all the wild things. It was literally a transformational moment. I felt like I was plugged into electricity the whole entire 7 days. And that then, when I returned to my life in Australia, where I had a mortgage and a very devoted boyfriend and a dog and just a white picket fence life, I just crumbled. I felt like I had built this ordinary life and I didn't really know who I was. So I left. My husband, or my boyfriend at that stage, had proposed to me. My parents had gotten divorced and everything just felt upside down. So I found myself in Argentina, which I was magnetized to that particular country because of the horse culture. And I absolutely spent 6 months going alongside the gauchos and living their way of life. So sleeping under the stars, riding horses, working cattle. It was such a remote estancia, like no internet, nothing. And I just pretty much journaled and photographed and just put myself back together and just fell in love with horses again and again. And then from there, I went back to Kenya and worked as a backup guide over there, which was absolutely amazing. And that's where I got to know all of our beautiful guests who had already discovered horse travel. And so I rode with them. I learnt conversational Swahili, and I figured out what made these type of holidays, horse travel holidays, so spectacular. And that's where I just learnt the dynamics of a group and how to look after guests when they, if they didn't have confidence. And when I came home to Australia, I actually realized that there wasn't an agency based in Australia that catered for horse riding holidays. There's some really good companies in the UK that had been established for a long time, but there wasn't an agency in Australia. And what I mean by an agency is pure and simple. Globetrotting is a travel company that specializes in horse riding holidays. So We are there to give you completely 100% impartial advice on horse riding holidays. We have road tested each and every ride that we offer in our portfolio, which I'll go into how we vet our rides in a minute. But we really can find the ride perfectly matched for you based on your riding ability, the amount of time that you have for your holiday, your budget. And that is really simple. Instead of you going onto the website and looking for rides yourself, you don't pay any extra for booking with us, but you get the peace of mind that we're curating a ride based on your riding experience, your taste for, a travel experience. So that was how Globetrotting minutely was born. And as from little things, big things grow. And I love that saying so much. So over time, I road tested rides and then put them on our portfolio. Now we have, over 50 rides within our portfolio. Laura, my colleague, likes to say we have a ride on every continent except Antarctica. And that warms me. And it's not that we're doing a scattergun approach and looking for rides and just putting them on. It doesn't work like that. To be fair, we've actually said no to ride partners if they don't align with our values. And what we do look for in a ride, which is really important for you guys to know in our vetting and quality assurance process, is first and foremost horse welfare. So for anyone that is worried about that, and especially in developing countries, that horse welfare is absolutely paramount. There is a complete, we have 100% that horses are looked after on the ride, that you're not riding a lame horse, that there is no saddle sores. Like, that is absolutely paramount. Change of scenery is very important. So we specialize in multi-day rides, so 5 to 7 days. We don't do 1-day rides. We don't do 2-day rides. We do these immersive riding experiences. So making sure that there's a change of scenery throughout that riding holiday, that the guides are local, or if they're not local, then they are also very adept at the region, that they can tell you about the flora, the fauna, the history. I want a story to be told when I'm riding alongside my guides. I want them to be able to host a dinner party at the end of an evening. I want to feel included and welcomed into their world. It's paramount. And then obviously value for money, so that the price of the ride stacks up to what you're going to be receiving as a guest. So, that is also incredibly important. So they're sort of the prongs on what we look for in a ride. And then we have, we live and die by feedback from you, our Globetrotters. So if we have ride partners that don't, are willing to change or update or, flex and get better and better in offering a better riding product, then we do part ways with them. That has happened in the past if safety is not, 100%. So please know that we're constantly striving to be better. That is the most important thing. And the wonderful thing also, which is very unique to Globetrotting, is we have within our portfolio exclusive rides. And what that looks like, and Rowie can show you on the website now, is we've built rides with our ride partner from the ground up. So we approach like the Scottish Borders ride, which we launched with Kaylee, Equestrian Susie, and it is where you become in part of one of the oldest riding festivals in the world, which is absolutely phenomenal. And it's a 7-day ride. And so we have exclusive rides around the world where you can't actually book unless you book through Globetrotting. And these are handpicked and created by Globetrotting. And that really sort of put us on the stratosphere with Globetrotting, that people, discovered Globetrotting through an exclusive ride. There I am on that one of riding up the Royal Mile was absolutely amazing in Scotland. And so we have also a ride in Glenorchy, New Zealand, that pretty much is where the Lord of the Rings country. But so you can, that has started Globetrotting's, reputation in bringing these phenomenal rides to you, because that's what I'm absolutely passionate about. It's either an iconic region around the world, and then we put together the itinerary. The other wonderful thing is, our Golden Eagle Festival in Mongolia. Like, you get to ride with the Kazakhs and go to a Golden Eagle Festival and be part of their festivities. Like, there's nothing like it in the world. And again, you can tell I get really excited. My heart beats faster for these types of rides. But, what is wonderful about that is, you don't have to do these far-flung rides. If you want to ride, close to home or in Ireland, there's also that opportunity. Thanks, Rowie. That's awesome. So that's pretty much how we look for what we look for in our rides. And now it comes down to you and what you're looking for. I'm just going to keep the chat open so I know if anyone's got any questions. Is what you're looking for in a ride. So I get it. There is a lot of rides on our website, like, you know, and it can be really daunting. What I want to say is we have a team of matchmakers. So our beautiful sales team, Andrew in North America, we've got Gemma and Katie in the UK, and then we've got Amy, Rowie, Mercedes, Steph, Laura, also in Australia. So we have every time zone covered. So hopefully when you can pick up the phone, they will be there and be able to match you a ride based on, you know, your criteria. So please pick up the phone. We're old school. We're very conversational. Also just gives you the peace of mind that there's someone there to be able to hold your hand through the whole entire process, which I think is super important. And when you fill out a contact form, the girls will always, or Andrew, will always give you a call. If you don't answer, that's cool. You may want to deal with us via email or text, no problem. We will never, ever do the hard sale. It's just not our, our jam, our vibe. We will, when you are ready to come to us, we will then hold your hand through the process. So riding ability, I'm just going to quickly touch on, but it is actually going to be the next webinar masterclass, like going to be the next episode for our masterclass, because there's so much to unpack here. But we essentially have 4 different riding abilities. We have beginner, which is confident walk, trot, learning to canter in open terrain. So this is not a novice rider. You haven't only ridden 5 times in your life. You're still confident on a horse, but you just haven't nailed that canter. This is where you would say that you're a beginner rider. And I'll just quickly say, if we have beginner friendly rides, and we love beginner riders, because we feel, and it's a big mantra for us, that every rider belongs here at Globetrotting. So whether you are a polo player, you're a Western rider, you're a dressage rider, you're a trail rider, you're a beginner rider, you're a plus size rider, you are welcome here, and that we will find you a ride. That is absolutely a massive part of what we do here. So if you've been doing your hour lessons every week and you're trying to get your canter, you know, the best thing is actually to go on an immersive riding holiday where you're doing 4 to 5 hours a day. You will upskill, level up really quickly. And we have rides that we call beginner friendly, confidence boosting rides. So please don't think that there isn't a ride here for you. Intermediate rider is competent walk, trot, canter in open terrain, but you're not riding fit. So you returning to the saddle after a long hiatus, you rode as a kid, but you haven't ridden, you know, a mature age, life happened. You know, that's you. You're an intermediate rider, and you may not be able to get riding fit to become strong intermediate rider. So that's really the difference between intermediate and strong intermediate rider. Strong intermediate riders, they look very capable, walk, trot, canter in open terrain. They have an independent seat, but they're riding regularly. They can ride 6 hours a day and their body doesn't crunch and hurt. They are confident in the saddle, and they can get riding fit for a ride that is like a point-to-point ride. Now, our advanced riders are actually few and far between. So just reconsider if you think you're an advanced rider. They're generally like polo players, show jumpers, eventers. You've ridden young horses. You've ridden a variety of different horses. You're very confident, independent seat, 2-point canter, balanced hands. Like, you know, my biggest takeaway for all of you, my beautiful Globetrotters, is just to be completely transparent about your ability. This is only going to set you up for success so that the ride partner can find you a horse that suits you. So understate your ability. It's the Australian way, rather than overstating your ability, and also state your ability of where you're at now, where you do the booking form. So pick a ride, and so that you're not thinking that you have to get riding fit for a certain amount of time. That is, I can't tell you how important. And then another layer on that is, it's 19 minutes. I'm checking because I know your time is precious, so I don't want to sort of talk over 20 minutes. But the other thing is also English saddles or English riding versus Western riding. So that is a big thing. So if you have, looking at a lot of our rides in Europe, there's only English saddles or English riding. And so if you're an exclusive Western rider, I urge you to be able to do some English riding before going and booking on these rides, or book the ride, but make sure that you do a lot of riding in an English saddle, because as you know, there's a very big difference between a Western saddle and an English saddle, and you'll be expected to do 2-point in the canter. So yeah, that is another, again, I didn't want to go too much into riding ability, but that is another thing. And if you're stuck or where you sit, there was a YouTube video that Rowie or Amy will put about riding abilities, but also just pick up the phone to one of our amazing team and they will also help you nut it out, because that's probably the first thing of what you need before going on to what ride works for you. And then budget is obviously another important thing. How much time you have off. I know our lovely Americans have, very limited time in terms of work schedules. They don't get as much leave as a lot of other people. So maybe you want to travel domestically, internationally. Internationally, we like to leave 2 days at the start, so if luggage gets lost, jet lag before actually starting the ride. And then, we generally split our 2 rides very simply into a lodge-based ride or an A to B ride. And so what that looks like is a lodge-based ride, you stay in the one location, and that could be in a castle in Scotland or Ireland, as one of the attendees said that they're doing the castle and estate ride. So you stay, you unpack, and you sink into that rhythm of a 4, 5, 7 day ride, and you cloverleaf out each day. So you're not going over the same terrain twice. You may have to ride, a certain track to get out off the property, but then you're riding somewhere else. Or some of our rides, like in Scotland, they truck the horses to different locations. But the beauty of a lodge-based ride is that if your body is screaming at you, you can opt out. So you don't have to ride in the afternoon. So there's a lot more flexibility, so to speak, in our lodge-based rides. The A to B ride, which my favorite word in Swahili is called safari, which means going on a journey. And so essentially that's what it is you're riding from A to B either every day or every second day. And that, I love riding with a purpose. I love being able to wake up in the morning and know that we're going to a different location and we don't know where camp is, and we ride with purpose. What that looks like with some of our rides, if it is a point-to-point ride, there is no exit strategy. So if you decide that you can't ride after lunch, your horse still needs to get to the next camp. Some of our rides, and there is a disclaimer to this, do have support vehicles and they can pony the horse along if you can't ride, of course. But there are other rides that you actually can't get off and you have to ride, like my rides in France, like the Loire Valley, the Bordeaux ride. You have to ride or you will get charged because they have to pick that horse up in a float. So just keep that in mind. For me, and I know a lot of my Globetrotters, like I love the point-to-point rides one season of my life, and sometimes I love to stay in a castle and get home and I'm, cold and wet and I can go soak in the bathtub and drink a whiskey. So I love both types of rides. You just need to know and tune into what ride you're feeling at this point in time, I think. Now, another thing I also wanted to talk about is traveling by yourself. So I don't know if anyone wants to comment below, but has anyone just a bit scared about traveling as a solo Globetrotter, please don't be. And I know people will chime in here, but 90% of our Globetrotters book rides by themselves. There's something very freeing about going on a ride that based on your likes, based on your time schedule and based on what you want in a ride. So that is power. And so please, please, please don't feel as if you can't book on a Globetrotting ride because you are trying to convince your friend or your, riding sister to go with you, because you definitely can. And it actually happens more than not. And I've met my most favorite, bestest friends on a Globetrotting ride. Our Globetrotting community, once you're in the fold, you will feel like it's a warm hug. We have a Globetrotter Facebook group page that you can only get into once you've booked a ride, and it is the most supportive and encouraging group of people I've ever met. I have friends from all around the world where you literally, I know it sounds cliche and a bit kitsch, but you come to ride as strangers and you leave as best friends, and it transcends every culture, creed, religion, generational. It is the best thing you'll ever do. Travel with friends as well. Don't get me wrong. That is also wonderful. I'm going to Tuscany tomorrow with my sister, which is just, and we ride. So, but I just wanted to give you that peace of mind that you can ride, by yourself. The other thing I wanted to also say is that age is no barrier. So it breaks my heart when someone says that they're too old now to globetrot. That is not true. So we have mature 70-year-olds doing our rides. So please, please don't think that this has passed you by. It is, again, it's just finding the right ride for you. And again, our team are pros at pulling all that together for you. Okay, so the booking process. There is 2 different types. So when you found your ride, you've spoken to our team. There are different types of rides on our website. There is a book now, which means it's an exclusive ride or an exclusive globetrotting departure date, and we hold availability. So you fill in our booking form. Apologies in advance. It is comprehensive and quite long because we need to know your weight, your dietary requirements, what you find in an ideal horse, so that goes straight to our ride partners so that they can prepare for you. Please, please be transparent about your weight. We do have plus size riders. We welcome them with open arms, but we need to know your weight so that we can find the right ride and the right horse for you, obviously. And then it's an instant booking if you look at one of our book now rides. But if it's a booking request, it means that we don't hold availability. We will take your booking form and then we will liaise with the ride partner to check there is availability. And then if there isn't, then we work back and forth to see what date they do have availability, and then we process your booking. So the other thing Rowie might show you on the website is on some of our departure dates, if they are sold out, which you will see that they do become sold out quite quickly, there is a waitlist me now button, and that is powerful. If you see a ride and it's sold out, click on the website and click on waitlist me now, because you will be the first to know. So here we go. That's the perfect one. Waitlist me now. You'll be the first to know if something becomes available. That is a little sort of, hack of the Globetrotting website. If you like that ride, but you want to know about when the next season dates are booked, because you can't go this season, then also Rowie will show you below that is a notify me of future departure dates. So this is all what you guys have been telling us to do. And so we're, constantly updating the website so that it's user friendly. So please make sure you use those. If, you can waitlist yourself for everything. The other obviously most important question is, okay, I've booked my ride. What if I have to cancel or change my booking? Thanks, Rowie. That is okay. You have a window of 90 days prior to departure date to change or cancel your booking. So it's 3 months. That is gives our ride partners enough time for us to sell the saddle seat. There's a $500 admin fee if you do change or cancel your booking 90 days prior to your departure date. And then full disclosure, we don't refund. We give global ride credits, which lasts for 36 months. So that is a really important part. So yes, you can have that flexibility, but 90 days prior to your departure date. If, for example, you have to cancel less than 90 days before your departure date, this is where travel insurance is imperative and is actually compulsory when you book on a globetrotting ride. So travel insurance, we have agents that can also advise you on travel insurance, or you can find it independently, but make sure you have travel insurance that covers horse riding holidays specifically. So worst case scenario, you break your leg, 2 weeks before departure. This is where you need to get the travel insurance as you first put your deposit down. This is where the travel insurance will cover your ride deposits, because you would have paid in full by then. Also, if you're on the ride and you need, again, something happens, it can be that you lose your phone. You can get it covered through travel insurance. You need to be medically evacuated out. It will be covered on travel insurance. For the price that travel insurance is, which actually isn't expensive in comparison to your trip, the peace of mind that gives you is so, so important. So I can't stress more highly. Even if you're going on a domestic ride, get travel insurance. We have an annual cover. It is so important. You can also get travel insurance so that if your child is sick, and you can't go on the ride, you will be covered. It is so important. So that's something. And then, so once you've done your travel insurance, pretty much trip prep, like we will be sending you lots of information about trip prep and how to get riding fit. Okay, I think I've taken way too much time because it's 29 minutes. Did anyone have any specific questions for me, or has Rowie been answering them in the Q&A? One that I will be like, and this is the other thing. Thank you, William, for your, so William's just asked a fun ride. So I'm assuming, William, maybe your partner isn't as good a rider. So yes, and this is, thank you for bringing this up, because we absolutely have rides that are multi-leveled, is what we call them. So beginner riders to advanced. So you say you're an advanced rider and your partner is learning to ride. That is fine. We can recommend, we have different rides that can suit everyone, which is great. You know, so, and also for people that, or for non-riders as well. We have rides that also suit non-riders, which is fantastic as well. Advanced intermediate rider, but have not ridden in a while. So this is a question that will mean I would have to have a less challenging ride. Again, that just depends on if you have access to a horse that you can train in accordance. Yes, we do have people that book like one of our more challenging rides, but when they're booking, their ability or their ride, it's mainly rider fitness, isn't up to scratch, but they are prepared to put in the hours. Yes, that is fine. Book that ride for you if you know in yourself that you will dedicate time to train for it. There are some very challenging rides that we have in our portfolio. I'm just going to be blunt here. If you don't train for it, you are not going to enjoy yourself. So it is, it's actually, you know, a safety thing that you have to prepare for a ride accordingly. So yeah, you can book it if you know that you have access to your horse and you can train. And sometimes that actually is enough of a purpose to be able to get back in the saddle and ride, so that you've actually booked the ride. That's no problem at all. So the ride, Sandy, in Tuscany is Western saddles. That's why it's so popular, because everyone loves riding in a Western saddle. So Rowie, I'm right in saying that. Yeah, so the Tuscany ride will be is in Western saddles. The other ride, we have a Dartmoor ride in England, which is also Western saddles. So we have listened to the Globetrotting audience, and I know that you guys want some more Western saddle rides in Europe. So we're definitely working on that for sure. Oh, good. Yes, this is also, oh my God, now I'm seeing all these questions. So yeah, twin share. I love that question. So if you are a solo rider, but you are happy to twin share, then that's no problem at all. You can book on a twin share spot, and we will match you with another solo Globetrotter that's also willing to twin share. It obviously, again, depends on the ride, but yes, we can do that. We would only ever twin share you with another female rider. Same for our male Globetrotters. If you're happy to twin share and there's another male Globetrotter that's happy to twin share, then you don't have to pay a single sup. But if there is no male rider that is happy to twin share, you will have to pay a single sup. Some of our rides, which again, Rowie might put in the chat, actually offer complimentary single sups, which I love for solo travelers, which I think is really cool. Thanks, guys. All right, I better leave you. So I'm going to end this, and there's going to be a survey at the end just to make sure we've nailed it for you and given you lots of information. I'm sorry I went over time. I know all of your time is precious, but reach out to any of our team if you have any questions. But thank you so much for being here and, yeah, sharing your time.